Viewers and subscribers, welcome back to Beating the Press podcast. I am your host, Rafa. Now, coming up in this evening's podcast, we're going to be talking some EPL football. Big matches coming up on the weekend. Liverpool takes on Chelsea. And of course, the game everyone is looking forward to. Mighty Sunderland face off with Manchester United. Now, joining me this evening to talk some EPL football, we have a special guest, the living art, Livy himself.
Greetings, yeah man, pleasure. Thank you guys for inviting me on the show. Looking forward
Welcome
to
to the
having a
platform.
good conversation. All right.
We also have returning, as per usual, Christoph.
Good to be back, viewers.
Yes, indeed, gents. Yes, indeed. Another weekend of EPL football coming up. But before we jump to that, are those games, it was Champions League action. Livy, talk to us. Juventus, what's going on over there in Italy?
Boy, the thing with Juventus now, we need to get back our defensive identity. You know, over the years, Italian teams have always been known for their obese or their very good defense. And in the last couple of matches, in the first match, we drew 4-4 with Dortmund. This last match, we drew 2-2 with Villarreal. A last minute goal conceded, which is not the norm. So right now, Tudor needs to sort it out.
Indeed, indeed. Those days of top Italian defending seem to be no more. And of course, this is being reflected in the Italian national team itself. That stalwart defensive unit, which Italy was once known for, no longer exists. The culture seemed to have changed.
Yes, they're trying to, I guess, I don't know if they're trying to be more entertaining. So they're trying to put more effort into like being more attacking, offensive, but you know that is leading to more goals being conceded. So give here, lose here. So it's really need to find the balance.
That is it. That is it. Christoph, Arsenal, another win under their belt. Probably the second hottest team in Europe right now, next to Crystal Palace.
Second hottest team in Europe next to
Yeah,
Crystal
I
Palace.
mean,
Right?
Crystal Palace is unbeaten in what? 18 games now, having taken care of business over there in the Conference League. Arsenal getting another win versus an opponent which they should beat. But what did you make of the performance?
Um, I think for me, the most notable performance is probably, you could say, Martin Odegaard. Like the way that he was playing in that game, he did not stick solely to the right side. He did, however, you would say, dropped a lot deeper than he's been playing for Arsenal recently. That seems to be working for him. We saw him do that when he came off the bench against Newcastle, and it seemed to be working for him. Maybe that deep line playmaker role, that Perlo role seems to be suiting him at the moment. Um, whether or not that pans out long term, different story. I mean, a note for concern, however, Victor Gyökeres did get a number of chances that did go wanting. You have to say he did create that first goal, but still there were a number of other, maybe I would call them easy chances that probably should have been scored, did not. He might be, maybe he needs to potentially drop a couple of pounds. Maybe he doesn't
Too
look
early for
for,
that. Too early for that, Christoph. Too early for that.
but the
Too early for
farm.
the excuses. I mean, this is
Uh,
the number nine
no,
you've been craving and begging for. I mean, come
no,
on.
I'm not making an
Why didn't
excuse
we
for
hear
him.
these comments while he was at Sporting Lisbon? He was banging them in with ease, week in, week out,
Oh, but
domestically, you in
right,
Europe.
I'm not
What's
make
now he's getting better supply.
I'm not making an excuse for him. I'm saying he does look a bit off the pace in that game. It could also be where, since there is no alternate striker really, he's been playing a number of games. Maybe he is a bit burnt out. He is playing basically 90 minutes
Burnt
every game.
out with just 6, 7 games in the league. Come
It's
now, man. These
it's
are
been
professionals. Burnt out after
yeah,
8 games.
these are professionals, but he is, if you check his statistics, he does run more than every other player in the EPL. He has more
I'm not
mile.
sure about that. You have to bring those
Check.
numbers
No,
to show us.
I will provide the
I
numbers,
find
but
that
he.
extremely hard to believe,
I
especially as a
will.
forward. So you're telling
I
me he's
will.
out running the likes of a Caicedo
I
from
was just
Chelsea,
about
a
to say,
Anderson from Nottingham Forest,
At the
a
moment,
Guimaraes from Newcastle?
Victor Gyökeres has the most distance traveled in the EPL.
Mm. You have
uh,
to bring those
this
numbers to us.
platform,
You have to bring those
this
numbers to
Yeah,
us.
man.
platform,
I will be providing them shortly. You're
was it
saying something, Levi?
Squawka used that, Christoph?
Go again.
That's from Squawka. Where you get these analysis from?
I'm sure it's on Squawka, but I usually use Apta as my find out my numbers.
Okay, alright. I mean,
Anyhow,
yeah, if you
we're
want
gonna have to
to
dig
create
deeper
a
into
bit
those
of love,
numbers, Livy.
yeah. But if you want to know Christoph, you can still buy Vlahovic in January, you know.
Well, that's a
Something
discussion
something
for another
to
time.
think
But we're
about.
gonna jump in now, however, on what we're here for to dissect the EPL games coming up. And of course, the big game I would say is Chelsea plays host to Liverpool. Livy, talk to us. What can we expect from that game? Who do you think will win? What's the tactical approach? Both teams coming off defeats.
Well, if you had asked me that 2, 3 weeks ago, easily I would have responded with Liverpool. But we see here where they experienced back-to-back losses for the first time this season. So it's going to be a good match. Remind me, which stadium is it playing? Who's playing
Stanford
home?
Bridge.
It's at the Bridge. All right. So, well, right now I really cannot see Liverpool losing 3 matches in a row. But seeing it as it's at the Bridge, I'm looking forward to a draw. Looking forward to an entertaining draw.
So you're sitting on the fence for this one then.
Yeah, as long as it's an entertaining match, as a neutral, that's all I'm interested in.
Well, I can't fault you on that. But what says you, Christoph? I mean, Liverpool getting another defeat over there in Europe versus a stubborn Galatasaray team. And of course, the defensive fragilities again are rearing their ugly head. Conceding at a very high clip right now is Liverpool and not getting anything from that trip to Turkey in terms of even getting on the score sheet. Chelsea did eke out a win in Europe at the expense of a red card for Joe Pedro, but we are back to domestic business come Saturday. What can we expect from this game, though, Christoph?
Yeah, just like Levi had said, asked 2 weeks ago, I would have said Liverpool, but definitely those back-to-back losses puts a big question sign over them. Obviously, you could say potentially Crystal Palace just had their ticket, as they have had for a number of games now. Um, but Chelsea is fluctuating up and down to me. I don't think they're quite the contenders they themselves think they are. But I think they do have enough in them. If Liverpool has shown a lot of fragility in the last couple of games, where if you attack them, you will potentially see some joy from it. And at the bridge, I don't see Chelsea, playing playing defensively. So I think they will go out and attack and try and get the win. And I think Chelsea could see a result from this game. I think it's a draw game, but I feel like it's advantage Chelsea at the moment.
Well, I mean, again, it's no, it's not the time to hit the panic button. Liverpool have played six, won five, and have lost one. So really, there's no need to hit the panic button. It's one defeat in 6 games. I
No,
mean, they are still top of the EPL,
it
leading the
is
league by 2 points. So
it
I'm not sure it's
indeed.
time to hit the panic button as yet.
Indeed, it's one loss in 6 games, but the manner in which the wins have come is also telling. Um, a lot of people would say, that is what champions do. They get that late winner or whatever. Getting that late winner could also be a symptom of struggling.
Well, I rather an ugly win versus a pretty defeat. And give me the points. The points build confidence. When you look at the table and see that you're leading the league, it builds confidence within the squad. So even though I mean, we expect Liverpool to play better going forward. They have still been turning over teams. They have still been getting the points. They still lead the league. So really, there's no need to hit the panic button just yet.
Why would
And I
Liverpool?
think going into
Why
this
would
game against a fragile Chelsea, I
why
can
would
see
they?
Liverpool going out and winning this game.
Why would anybody be thinking about hitting the panic button?
Well,
As
that
in,
seems to be the media hype surrounding Liverpool at the moment. As you outlined, the
we're
wins
not.
have come, but maybe not in the manner people expected.
No, we're not here to hit any panic button. Nobody was saying that. If the mainstream media wants to say that, that's fine. We know better.
But for me, my call, Liverpool to win 2 goals to 1. I think Liverpool will show enough mettle. This is the defending champions. The player personnel is there. I mean, these guys are not going to be losing their skills overnight. I mean, they may not necessarily be producing the goods in the past 5, 6 games, but definitely, I mean, they can come good at any time in terms of playing the way people expected them to play. Everybody is not firing on the same clip right now, but the personnel is there, the quality is there in the team. If Slot can get the balance right, then I think Liverpool can get a result. In fact, I think he will revert to what led Liverpool to the title last season. That midfield three of Sobersley, Jones, and Gravenberch, or even a McAllister. It's really just getting that balance right in the middle, I feel, and of course, locking up shop defensively.
So
Of course,
so
Alisson picked up a big injury in the Champions League as well.
So which one of your new signings would fall out of the starting lineup if that is the
Florian
Well,
case?
Wirtz,
Wirtz seems to be
Wirtz,
the man who is
but
getting the short end of the stick right now, even though he has not contributed in terms of goal and assists. According to the Opta stats, he is the leading creative player in the EPL in terms of chances created. I mean, the strikers are just not burying the chances, but he is creating chances for the strikers. And that seemed to be one of Liverpool's issues as well. Even though we're seeing defensive fragilities, oftentimes it's because they go behind in games and have to fight to get back into games, so they leave space at the back. And of course, teams approach Liverpool with a low block. So you need that creative spark in the middle to unlock these low block teams. But of course, while trying to go for the win, you leave yourself vulnerable to the counter. And predominantly, that is how teams have been hurting Liverpool. The same thing happened under Klopp in his final years as well, where Liverpool was being picked off on the counter. So that's definitely something to look at from Zlatan. He definitely has something to work on. But going into this game, I'm gonna back Liverpool for a win. I'm not jumping ship just yet. Still top of the league, 5 wins from 6, not playing well, but still getting the result. I see this game being no different. Plays well, you can turn over this Chelsea team, which no Cole Palmer, defensive fragilities, players on red card, changes will have to be made in terms of the personnel for Chelsea.
Well, as a Juventus man, what I'll say is if Liverpool wants to guarantee the win, they need to start the big Italian up front, Federico
Big
Chiesa.
Italian, who is that?
Chiesa, Chiesa. So you
Chiesa. Well, I mean, to be honest with you, Livy, to be honest with you, if there was ever a player that deserved a start, it's Chiesa, to be honest. I mean,
No,
he has come
that
off the
Chiesa
bench
performance
on a
looks
number
good.
of occasions this season and have made a tremendous impact. I mean, he won that game versus Bournemouth in the first game of the season. He came on versus Crystal Palace, got Liverpool back in that game as well. So he have been impacting this team off the bench. So if there was one player who really deserved a chance, it's
Yes,
Chiesa, to be honest.
I
I mean, he
definitely
seems to
want to
be
see
injury free
Chiesa.
now.
I definitely want to see him in the starting lineup, given an opportunity to see what he can do from the beginning with the starting lineup, with the best 11 available. I think he would can earn his way into that team and even give favorite competition because once players have competition, their games usually the great players their games usually tend to go up. So hopefully, if he gives some competition, the likes of Wirtz can start to produce goals and assists more. when he gets back on the pitch as well.
Good call. I must say I didn't
While
see that call coming. A
while
shout
I
for Chiesa is a
while
good look.
while I agree that Chiesa has earned a starting spot, um, and I'm not saying this is definitely the case for him. Some players are definitely better coming off the bench than starting games.
Well, you're speaking to the likes of a Martinelli then.
Uh, he's definitely good coming off the bench. You have him playing against tired legs, definitely, but he does not. He does need space to run into. If I was referring to somebody at Arsenal, I would say more like a Trossard. He generally
Mm.
scores or creates one coming off the bench. He has had a number of match winners at Arsenal coming off the bench. So um, yeah, but and again, I'm not saying that is the case with Chiesa, but some players are better coming off the bench than starting a game.
Well, for sure, we'll see what transpires over the weekend. But Livy, you're saying draw. You want to give us a specific scoreline?
Well, I'm seeing a 2-2 draw.
2-2
2-2.
draw. What says you, Christoph? You're also calling a draw, I believe.
I agree with Livy that I feel like there's some goals in there. I think it could be a 2-2 draw, but I feel like I give the potential edge to Chelsea winning this game. So I think Chelsea to either win 3-2 or this game will draw 2-2. So it's either 3-2 or 2-2.
I'm going for Liverpool. I'm going 2-1 in favor
I
of
feel I
Liverpool.
I strongly feel that there's more than 3 goals in this game.
Well, I mean, time will tell for sure. I mean, the EPL is full of goals this season. But we move over to Stamford Bridge. To me, this is one of the games of the weekend, even though it's not a top of the table clash. It's
I
really
don't know
Manchester
about that.
United versus a rampant Sunderland team. Livy, I'll come to you first on this one. United versus Sunderland. How are you seeing that game?
Well, Sunderland, I haven't seen much of them, to be honest, from the season. Where are they currently in the standings?
I believe they're flying high in the top five.
Sunderland
If I
is
believe
fifth.
they're around
Fifth.
fifth.
Fifth, yeah, fifth, 11
Well,
points. Only last one game. They have drawn the last two, to be fair.
well, typically in that
So
case,
you're not
I have to
asking
say
where Manu is in the standings, Livy.
Bottom half of the table, you know how it
I
goes.
I mean,
well,
you inquired about Sunderland, but no word on where United is. United is sitting in 14th for the
fourth,
record. So it's fifth versus 14th,
fifth,
and fifth
wow,
being Sunderland.
that's crazy.
Yeah, to be fair, it's not like there's a huge points difference between the top of the table and the bottom of the table at the moment. United is in 14 and 7 points. Sunderland is in fifth and 11 points. Not a big difference in points right now.
Well, come
Later,
end of the season, that gap
let's
may be
reach
very significant.
let's wait till we reach halfway through the mark and then reevaluate.
Well, you have to call it as is. It's what the table is saying now, Christoph. I can't do anything about what the table is saying. The table says United is in 14th,
the early
Sunderland
table
sits in
can
5th.
lie. The early table can lie, man.
Well, I'm not saying that is how the teams will finish. I'm just telling our viewers and subscribers that currently as is, Sunderland is in 5th and United sits in 14th. I mean, that could change over the weekend easily. I mean, with a United win, they could fly up the table.
United, in my opinion, United needs to get their midfield in order. They need to find some way to get Menu on the field. I'm not. I, I tend to believe that sooner or later Amarim has to start getting results. So I would go against the grain to say I think Manu should get 3 points this weekend. Hopefully, for the sake of the sanity of the Manchester United fans, but looking forward to another entertaining match from Manchester United. Win or lose, they always provide the most drama in the EPL.
So what's the score you're giving us? If you were to pick a score.
I'll go for a 2-1 Manchester United.
2-1 win for United at home then is your call.
Yes, yes.
What says you, Christoph? Sunderland, one of the surprise teams thus far in the league. That man Shaka leading them, former Arsenal player. He has the experience going into these big games. So for me, I don't think Sunderland will be a pushover for this game. I think Sunderland is coming into this game full of confidence and with the belief that they can beat United at Old Trafford. But what says you? What's your read on the situation?
I think Sunderland will win this game 3-1.
Playing on straight.
Plain and straight. I don't. The grit and the tenacity that Sunderland has shown so far this season, United do not have that. Right?
Wow.
I
But
don't
even
think
the
United.
scoreline is a big scoreline right there. You're expecting Sunderland to breach the United defense 3 times in one game.
The United defense is not very good. Let's not go around it. Uh, the keeper is fine. You know. I don't think the keeping situation is a major issue for them. It's again,
So you're
I,
saying that has
I,
been fixed with the departure of Onana?
again, we see Onana going off there in Turkey and having man of the match performances and playing well. So maybe it's just a case where the pressure at United was telling. But again, it's one of those things where we see players leave United, go out on loan, only to be in spectacular form. We saw Rashford scoring wonder goals in the Champions League. We see Anthony lighting up La Liga. So um
Hoyland and McTominay doing well at Napoli.
Hoyland doing really well as well. And I said it at the beginning of the season. I said I don't think Hoyland is bad. I just think he's not getting the service that he needs. Um, I said I don't think Sesko is bad. I just don't think he's going to get the service that he needs. And whether it is that the formation needs to change, the approach of play need to change. Um, and I also said, Livy said it. I said at the beginning of the season, I think United need to sort out the goalkeeping. They need to get a midfielder
So
to
that
kind of
so so
balance
so
out.
the goalkeeping haven't been sorted out.
The goalkeeping, you can call the goalkeeping sorted, right?
Okay.
I said they need a midfielder to help balance out that midfield,
So
and they
that's
need
still
to,
missing.
right, they need to, the formation need to permanently change to a 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3,
But we're not
something
gonna
like that.
see that. I mean, that's
It,
not
it,
the philosophy of the coach.
the coach need to adapt his philosophy to one of those formations because the
Mm.
formations he's using is not going to work for the remainder of the season. We have seen teams win with three at the back, Conte, Chelsea. I don't think we're going to see it again right now. It's definitely not going to be with United and Amarin. Again, I've said I don't think Amarin is totally at fault because we've seen every manager since Alex Ferguson come and it has been a problem. Jose Mourinho did win FA Cup, even Ten Hag has won FA Cup, but the overall play at the club, league wise, they've struggled. So
So you're expecting that
Amarin,
struggle to continue
I,
versus Sunderland.
I think a lot needs to change before United get back to being a very good team.
Well, I mean, we're not talking about necessarily being a good team. We know that will take time, but to get time, the coach need to get wins. You can't be losing every week and expect to get time. Progress, you have to see some sort of progress. And to get time, you need wins. You need W's on the board. United is still to win a game back to
Win
back
back-to-back
under
games.
Amarin in the league. So that in itself is a telling story. So that consistency is surely lacking. And if you're saying United to lose this one, if
3-1.
that was to be the case come Saturday, can Amarin survive this loss versus Sunderland, or will he be
I,
sacked?
I don't know if he will survive the last, but at the beginning of the season, I said Amarin is not going to make it to December. I did say that, right?
So you're saying that prediction is on track as
Yeah,
you are
man, that
seeing it
that
currently.
that prediction is on track. Amarin is not going to make it to New Year's as Man United manager.
Ah, I feel United might find something for this one. So I don't think they'll find a win, but I think they might come up with a draw. So I'm gonna go on the fence. I'm gonna, be positive. I mean, last week you did call Brentford to win, so said so done. But things could have been different if Bruno Fernandes had put away that penalty. So I'm gonna go on the fence this time around. I'm gonna call a draw. So I'm gonna go 1-1 draw in this one versus Sunderland. 1-1 draw to pretty much go into the international break. But there are many more matches on display this weekend. Let's touch on Arsenal quickly, Christoph. I mean, this should be a straightforward win for Arsenal. Arsenal plays against Nottingham Forest, if
No,
my memory serves me correctly.
West Ham
West
under
Ham, West Ham.
Nuno Espirito
Right.
Santo.
So it's Arsenal versus West Ham at the Emirates. What's your call for this game, Livy?
Arsenal should get the victory. Arsenal, I strongly believe that Arsenal will challenge until the end of the season. So I'm looking forward to them to put some 3 points on the board this weekend.
So routine win then. Nothing crazy.
Let us see I mean, it's football, you know. So, but I expect it to be routine, yes. Answer the question.
So you don't believe that West Ham might get some sort of new coach bounce from the appointment of Nuno Santos? No new coach bounce versus Arsenal. And it seemed to me, Christoph, that West Ham has become a bogey team for Arsenal in recent times. They seem to have some sort of hiccup versus West Ham. Could this be another case this weekend?
Um, I believe Arsenal get the result from this game. I don't think it will be a straightforward game. Like I said, West Ham in recent years has been a bit of a bogey team. Last season they had like Mohamed Kudus doing the damage against them. He's gone to Tottenham. But I think the more important threat I think is like Nuno Espirito Santo. Late last season Arsenal did play Nottingham Forest and lose. And Nuno explained why he did what he did, the tactics that he employed, and to win. He said, Arsenal did not have a striker in that game, so he popped that midfield because there's nobody to push the defense back, no striker to run in behind, nobody pushing that the defense back, nobody occupying the defenders, and they got the win, right? I think Nuno is, tactically sound and will potentially have some tactics that he's going to employ in this game and make it very difficult. So I think it's going to be a tougher game than people realize. Arsenal should get the win. You're playing at home, playing at the Emirates. You're coming off of a couple of wins. The momentum is with them. West Ham has been poor. I think they only have the one win against Chelsea, right? They haven't won anything else.
No, they had a win versus Nottingham Forest. They beat Nottingham Forest 3-0.
They did beat Nottingham Forest. Okay, okay. Yep.
Yes.
Oh, it was Nottingham Forest they got the win, not Chelsea.
Correct.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yes.
Which
And they drew their last game versus Everton. Was that? I think it was 1-1.
1-1, 1-1.
That was
I
Nuno's first game in
Nuno's
charge.
first game, Bowen scored that. Well,
Correct. That's
right,
right.
right. I
Yeah,
remember the
he
game now.
if West Ham is gonna get anything out of this game, Bowen is the man. Bowen has to be the man if West Ham is gonna cause any havoc. But Livy, I'm realizing there are very few Italians playing their football in the EPL. Why is that? Why is it that
That's
not
not
many
new.
Italians are attracted to the EPL?
Well, that's a very good question. So EPL traditionally is a very physically demanding league. So I guess the owners or the coaches, they look into it and they say probably they want more power or pace-based players, which traditional Italians are more defensive oriented, tactical, technically gifted more than their physical attributes. So that is one of the reasons you look at. When you look at the Italian players in history who have played in the EPL, there have been the greats such as Zola at Chelsea, most recently, which you have Tonali in Newcastle who has been playing well. So
Balotelli,
Balotelli,
Paulo Di
McHale,
Cano.
You have the legend Makeda. So, but we should start to see more Italians in EPL. I would personally love to see it more.
Ogban.
Italian right now, they have a few good players that they have produced. I would have loved to see a player, a striker such as Rutegi, which is I think is a very good striker right now. Would have actually
Oh,
loved to
didn't he
see.
go over there to the Desert League?
Yes, he went over to the Saudi League, which when I
You
sit
have
out
to
that
follow the
league,
money, my brother. You have to follow the
yeah,
money. And that's where the players are going now. The big money is where the motivation is. But it was just I was just curious to be honest. Earlier you mentioned Chiesa, but I was just looking at let's say the West Ham team, the Arsenal team. Very few Italians try their trade as mentioned in the EPL. So it was just an interesting question. I thought I should seek some clarity on. But it is what it is. So Christoph, what's your call in terms of a scoreline?
Um, I'm going to go with two 3-0 to Arsenal.
But well, but you just said it shouldn't be an easy game, but you're
Uh,
calling 3-0?
3-0 is not necessarily an easy game.
Oh,
Um,
yes, man. 3-0 is
I'm
a walk in the park.
I'm calling 3-0 because not a lot of teams have scored against Arsenal. Arsenal have only conceded two in the EPL, so three in the EPL, one set piece and well, two set pieces and one from open play, right? While against West Ham, I mean West Ham second half against Everton, they looked really good crossing those balls into the game. But I don't know that they're going to be beating William Saliba and Gabriel with them on the cross. From a set piece, definitely. But I think Arsenal will get the win, but it won't be until late.
Interesting. Livy, what says you? What's your scoreline?
well, expect at least 2-1, 2-0, 2-0 Arsenal. I think. Well, you gave me some insight where you're saying West Ham has been a bogey team to Arsenal, so perhaps that will play a part of it. So, as I said, I expect Arsenal to go be in the long yards and be in there towards the end of the season. So, with that in mind, this is a match where they definitely should overcome any previous mishaps that they have had against West Ham. So, expect them to get the 3 points this weekend.
So 2-0 is your call then.
2-0, yeah.
2-0. I'm going to go against conventional wisdom, and I'm going to call this 2-1 to Arsenal. I feel with the new coach bounce that Santos should get from this West Ham team, them being somewhat of a bogey team to Arsenal, I do expect them to trouble the back of the Arsenal net against conventional wisdom. The bookies would say Arsenal to win 2-0, but I'm gonna go GG for this game. Both teams to score, but Arsenal to come out the victors. 2-1, 3-1 would be my call for this game. The West Ham defense very weak in my opinion, so I expect Arsenal to score and score multiple times in this one. So 2-1 or 3-1 is my call. But we move on to bigger things. We move on to other games which are also being played this weekend and some other interesting fixtures, Christoph. We're just gonna quickly hear your scoreline on these. Leeds versus Spurs. Leeds at home versus Spurs. What says you?
I think that would be a 1-1 draw.
1-1 draw. Livy, what says you?
Well, uh, I I wouldn't say I'm a fan, but I do enjoy watching Spurs football at times. Uh, let us see if I would personally like to see when Colomani gets his first game as a previous Juventini. I always look forward to
That
seeing
man is
the.
injured, Livy. That man is injured. We won't be seeing that man on the field anytime soon.
Is it? I think
That
I was
man is
wondering.
injured, man.
Wow, since he's been at Tottenham.
Correct, that's right. Out injured and
Well,
nowhere near match fit.
Oh, disappointing. Well, I still expect Tottenham to get. Well, Tottenham doesn't really get clean sheets, so perhaps a 2-1 or a 1-all draw.
Oh, so you're also calling a draw for this one.
Yes, because I don't see Tottenham getting a clean sheet. They
Mm.
just don't get clean sheets for some
I'm gonna
reason.
go 2-1, 2-1 Spurs. 2-1 Spurs. I think they will get the better athletes, but I expect both teams to score. It could be a shootout, end-to-end stuff. Leeds at home, but I'm gonna go 2-1 to Leeds. But interestingly, Christoph, we also have the EPL kicking off on Friday. We have a Friday game. I think the EPL should make this a permanent fixture where they have a Friday game, Saturday and Sunday. To me, this exposes more fans, more broadcast rights, especially when not much football is played in the big leagues on a Friday. But we do have a Friday match, and that match is Bournemouth at home versus Fulham. Bournemouth versus Fulham. I'm going to go first on this. I'm going to call a Bournemouth win. Bournemouth to win 2 goals to nil. What says you?
Bournemouth versus Fulham at Bournemouth.
Bournemouth at home versus Fulham.
Fulham lost their last game, right?
Fulham did lose their last game. They played against, who was it that beat them? Aston Villa. They lost that game
Aston
to
Villa
Aston Villa.
3-1, 3-1, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, I think I'll go with Bournemouth to win 2-1.
Bournemouth to
But
win 2-1.
yeah, Bournemouth to win 2-1.
What says you, Livy?
I'd go with a 1-1 draw.
1-1 draw. Wow, you seem to be calling a lot of draws for this game week, Livy. That's 3 draws on the buns. Liverpool to draw, uh this game to draw, and you're also calling the Spurs game to draw. Wow.
Well, for the Spurs game, I said Spurs to win 2-1, but I
2-1.
wouldn't press if they draw, but I said 2-1 to Spurs.
The two can't be right in a Livy. The two, the two can't be right. But we move on to the next game. The next game on the agenda is we move to Sunday. Aston Villa at home versus Burnley. Aston Villa versus Burnley. Aston Villa probably picking up a little steam now. Burnley sound defensively, got beaten by City, but they should give a good fight to Aston Villa. I'm gonna go with a draw in this one, a scoring draw. I'm gonna go with 1-1 draw. So Burnley to draw with Aston Villa 1-1. What says you, Christoph?
Aston Villa to win 2-0.
Aston Villa to win 2-0. Livy, what's your take on this one?
I like Aston Villa. I like Aston Villa. I'm actually going for a 1-0 Burnley win. I'm actually going for a
Wow,
1-0 Burnley.
you're calling an upset in this one now, Livy.
Yes, the last match I saw at Burnley, they seem to have
Which was
some
against
fight
City.
in them. Yes, they have some fight, good shape. So I expect them to get a result. Aston Villa has been playing a lot of matches recently, so perhaps some fatigue will play a part.
Perhaps indeed, perhaps indeed. But if there is one man to hurt Aston Villa in this game, it has to be the winger, Anthony. He has been on fire so far in the EPL. He's one of the top scorers and one of the top, you could say, attacking midfielders in the EPL thus far, coming from a team, a Burnley team, which you would not expect to be an offensive juggernaut. But he has definitely been a standout in the EPL and for Burnley. And if Burnley is to get something from this game, that man will play a part, whether through a goal or through an assist. So for those EPL, those fantasy league, EPL Fantasy League subscribers, look out for that guy. Anthony, he might be one you want to bring into your team. But we move, and the next game on the agenda is Everton versus Crystal Palace. Giant Killers, Crystal Palace, back in action versus Everton. Everton playing in their new stadium. How are you seeing this one, Christoph? For me, I'm seeing this one as a draw. I'm seeing this as a 1-1 draw. But what says you?
It's being played at Everton, you said.
That's right.
I feel like this could be the game that breaks Everton's unbeaten run. Not Everton, Crystal Palace's unbeaten run. So I feel like I would go with a win for Everton for this one, 2-1.
2-1 to Everton. Livy, what says you?
Well, I think Crystal Palace has been playing some of their best football in a while. So I think they'll continue the trend, continue the streak. So I think they'll keep it alive with a 1-0 win.
1-0 win is a good show, to be honest. And right now, it's hard to bet against Crystal Palace. It's very tough to bet against Crystal Palace. They're churning over the results. So it's quite possible, as you said, that performance or that streak will continue. They are probably the hottest team in Europe at the moment. But we move, and the next game we have here is Newcastle versus Nottingham Forest. Newcastle versus Nottingham Forest. New coach over there at Forest, but still no win in his first 6 games, Christoph. I'm gonna come to you first on this one, Livy. What says you in this game?
Well, it should be a very interesting one. As I say, new coach for Nottingham Forest. And my Juventus bias again, Nottingham Forest. Uh, they purchased right back Sovana from us. Also, Douglas Lewis, sorry, is there on loan as well. So we'll see if he can get on the pitch and give them something in the midfield. So, but that much, I'm looking for a 1-1 draw in that one. Don't think either team doing significantly better than the other one. Right now, where I can say confidently that I would lead in either direction. But so I'll go with a 1-1 draw for that match.
1-1 draw. Wow. Christoph, what says you? Newcastle at home versus, I would say, a deflated Nottingham Forest, in all honesty. When one would have thought the introduction of a new coach would have lifted the team, it seems the introduction of Ange has deflated the team. It seemed to have worked in the reverse. So for me, I see nothing other than a Newcastle win. That Italian Livy, Tonali, the man who was caught betting and was suspended, he is now back to his best. And of course, the big striker out of Germany, Voltimad, he has been the man leading the line for Newcastle and should get on the score sheet in this game as well. So for me, I see nothing other than a Newcastle win. I expect Newcastle to win this one 3 goals to 0 and possibly a early sacking of Ange before Christmas is my call. What says you, Christoph?
Um, well, I'll agree that I think Newcastle will win. I don't necessarily know that Ange coming in has deflated them. They're Newcastle and Newcastle and Nottingham Forest have a relatively similar record in the league so far, and as you said, the table don't lie. It's it's what 5 points and 6 points. There's not a huge difference in the results at the moment. But yeah, I think Newcastle has been showing up in Europe and showing that they know how to win games. So yeah, I expect to see Valtamade on the score sheet. I expect to see Anthony Gordon on the score sheet, and I think they have more quality in the squad than Nottingham Forest at the moment. Bruno Guimaraes, Sandro Tonali, and Nick Pope, had a tremendous game last week against Arsenal, and I'm expecting that to continue. So I think the quality that Newcastle have will tell in this instance. I think it's more a matter of the loss of Isak has kind of thrown them out of whack a little, so to speak. So they're still kind of gelling with Voltemade at the moment, and they will potentially get back to their best throughout the season. But I think this is a Newcastle win.
Newcastle to win is the call also. But what of the scoreline, Christoph? Give us a scoreline. Our viewers and subscribers
2-1.
want a scoreline. They log in and tune in to us
That
for those tough calls.
I said 2-1 just now, but I feel like it's potentially a 3-1 game. I think 3-1 is the score for
3-1.
the
Final
right.
call, 3-1.
Final call 3-1.
Final call, 3-1 is what Christoph is calling it. I'm calling it 3-0. And Livy is sitting on the fence again by calling this 1-1. But we move. The next game we move to is Wolves versus Brighton. Quickly, Christoph, what's your read on this game? Wolves at home versus Brighton.
I mean, Wolves has been terrible all season so far. They have not picked up any wins. They have what 1 point, so that's what one draw, which is the last game. Can't see past Brighton for this one. I think Brighton to win 3-0.
Brighton to win 3-0. Livy, what says you?
Yes, well,
Don't tell us another
Brighton,
draw, you know. Don't tell
Brighton
us
should
another draw.
Brighton should definitely get the 3 points. The good performances so far this season. Welbeck going strong still, even after all these years in the league. So Minte not doing bad as well. So I do expect Brighton to eke out a fairly comfortable win against struggling Wolves, as Christoph said. So yes, Brighton 2-0 is my prediction scoreline.
Wolves are struggling in all honesty, but at some point, even a broken clock, Livy is right. Once a day.
True,
Even a
true.
broken clock. And I expect Wolves to somehow, some way, get a win out of this game. Brighton is one of those teams which is very unpredictable. On any given day, any result can play for Brighton. They can win, they can lose, they can draw. And to me, Wolves have to show some hunger in front of their home fans going into the international break. They have to treat this game as a cup final and get a win from this one. So, against popular projections, I'm going to go with a Wolves win. I think Wolves may be able to take this game 2-1. So, my call for this one is Wolves to win, finally getting their first win of the season. 2-1 over Brighton. Then the final game we have on the agenda is Brentford versus Man City, Christoph. I'm going to come to you first on this one. Brentford at home versus Man City. What is your call for this game?
Brentford to win 2-1.
I'm not sure our viewers and subscribers heard that, Christoph.
Brentford,
Repeat that again.
Brentford, Brentford to win 2-1.
Brentford to win 2 goals to
2-1.
1.
Put it on
Beating the
your
mighty Man
put
City.
put it on your score sheet for your upset. And your betting or whatever. Brentford is going to win
What gives you so much
2-1.
confidence that Brentford will win 2-1? You have to
Brentford
tell us.
Brentford would have looked at Man City's game against Monaco and seen that they are soft. Brentford is going to go and try and get that win. They are going to soak up pressure and counter attack and win. They're going to low block. They're going to get that low block and then knock it over the top.
Well, wow.
You're
If
going
this
to
result plays, Christoph, you will be a genius.
they will do the exact same thing that they did against Man United. Watch.
And successfully do it. You're saying,
They will successfully win that game.
Well,
Brentford
wow,
to
wow.
win
This has to be the
2-1.
call of the weekend if this was to occur. You would
Well,
be
Christoph,
crowned a genius if you were to get this call correctly, Christoph.
you're saying that Manchester United and Manchester City are comparable, Christoph? To
They're not
say
comparable.
using the
Man,
same tactics to beat
man,
both.
Man, United will not win a game unless they can play on the counter attack. And right, if you give them possession, they won't win. Manchester City will dominate possession and is very weak on the counter attack. Brentford is not going to dominate them in possession, not going to dominate them in attack, but they will get a lot of opportunity to counter.
Wow, wow, wow. Big call. Big, big, big call. That from Christoph viewers and subscribers. Livy, what says you? Do you agree with Christoph?
Well, cannot say that I agree with Christoph. City hasn't had the best start to the season, so they're behind the pack, so to speak, this early segment of the season so far. So I do expect City to try to catch up to the top of the table, so they'll definitely be going for the 3 points during this match. So I expect them to get a a 2-0. I give them a 2-0 victory over Brentford. Even though, as Christoph was alluding to, that Man City is relatively soft at the moment. They cannot seem to keep a clean sheet. However, at 2-0, I do see a 2-0 this match.
So
They
you're
can't
going
compete every
against
match.
your own analysis, Livy, by saying they can't keep a clean sheet and then
Yes.
calling them to win 2-0.
No, yeah.
What's going on? Make it make
They,
sense for me. I'm a regular. Make it make sense for the viewers and the subscribers based on your analysis. You're saying they can't keep a clean sheet, but you're following your gut then on this one.
yes, definitely following my gut on this one. That they're gonna keep a clean sheet against Brentford on the weekend.
Say less, my brother, say less. Sometimes we just have to follow our footballing instincts, even though it goes against conventional wisdom, even though it is not supported by any form of statistics. We just have to follow our gut, and that's what makes the game the beautiful game. Because on any given day, any card can play. Christoph is calling an upset card, but for me, this should be a routine Man City win. Once that man Haaland is fit and up and running, he is unstoppable in the league, especially against what would be classified as these weaker teams, flat track teams. As Christoph would say, he is a flat track bully, and
No,
I
never,
expect him to
never said
bully
that.
the Brentford defense in this game as well. I'm gonna go 3-1. I'm gonna go 3-1 in this game. To me, if Burnley can score against Man City, I think the Brentford attack is more lethal than that of Burnley. So I do expect them to breach the Man City net. But I am not gonna go so far as to call this a Brentford win. I believe City will bounce back from their draw in Europe and continue on an upward trajectory, and they should get the win over Brentford.
Remember, remember the big Italian is in the goal now, so we have to cannot
Oh,
forget.
that's the Donnarumma. So there is Livy, there are a few Italians plying their trade in the EPL, man. I mean, you could possibly find a starting 11 of Italians in the EPL if you look hard enough.
Yeah, if we look hard enough, can probably find a competitive 11 of Italian players from EPL. Yeah, sure. I'd have to do some more
Indeed.
research on it. So
Yeah, definitely research for us, because I'm sure our viewers and subscribers are rather curious if we can find a competitive 11 in the EPL of Italians who could take on, other teams. But any final thoughts, Livy? Any final thoughts as it relates to the football matches coming up in the EPL this weekend? What's your final thought?
well, EPL, as usual, definitely one of the more entertaining leagues competition in football. So definitely looking towards the big match on Sunday with Chelsea and Liverpool. So that is definitely the match to watch. Expecting a lot of goals as usual, a lot of good performances, and especially leading into the international breaks. I know a lot of these teams will be aiming for 3 points, so I'm looking for a lot of goals this weekend. Not too many clean sheets, a lot of goals.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Always the entertaining league. But Christoph, what says you? What is your final take as it relates to this round of matches coming up over there in the EPL?
I feel there are some interesting matchups that are on display here. Especially I would say probably Chelsea versus Liverpool is probably the most interesting match of the weekend. Well, Sunderland versus United has the potential to be the most entertaining. But ag again, as I ask every week, is that I want to see, some good quality, consistent refereeing. Last week, I mean, not that it hasn't been happening. We've seen some calls throughout the season so far, but last weekend we've seen some egregiously incorrect VAR decisions coming to pass in a number of games, and I'm hoping that it was just a blip last week, and we won't be seeing those poor quality cars being made this weekend.
Well, there you have it, viewers and subscribers. Not much more I can add to that. Thanks again to Livy for coming on board, Christoph for coming on board and sharing their thoughts and their opinions, viewers and subscribers. We are now 470 plus subscribers strong. Help us to get to 500 by Christmas by sharing, liking, and of course, leaving your comments in the comment section. Who will win it? Will it be United or will it be an upset from Sunderland? Will City win or will Brentford be the upsetter as Christoph is predicting? Leave your scoreline in the comment section. But until next time, this is Rafa signing off.